Because you make the samples out of context of the mix, do you find that you have to do quite extreme EQing to make things fit together?
Back in the day, probably more than now, but it's because of that way of working. What you do sometimes lack dynamics, and sometimes you have a really squashed bass sound that's just, like looks like that. But that's okay when it's bass. In a lot of cases, it's all right. But I think that is part of, for us anyways, also how we managed to get a decent sound out of a digital environment in the first place, because we were just messing with plugins and shit forever, and it constantly degrades shit in weird ways. So that creates a sound at some point, and I think that's a part of our sound is a lot of processing in a way. It's just where you apply it. I mean, I wouldn't obviously distort a break horribly and then import that and try to mix it as a normal break, or try to get the transients to sound right after they've been completely distorted. Obviously, there's a lot of, we have samples obviously that are clean, and that you keep in mind that you want to mix it later so you don't squash it too much or you don't distort it too much. But this wasn't going to be like a very nuanced track. This is all really in your face, so the preparation work and the samples were pretty hardcore as well.